Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Michigan map. But before that, this video is brought to you by Optimus and Lawrence Anderson. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Michigan map, as of this video, can be found over at Taylor Farms' itch.io page. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be sent or has already been sent to the Giants Mod Hub for possible inclusion on console. But as of the recording of this video, it is going to be available for PC players only. Now I do hope to see this map make its way to console, but we'll just have to see, because I like how Taylor Farms has implemented the roller coaster, the playground ship, and the grain elevator into this map. I'd like to see more map authors implement these new buildable, constructible missions into their maps. To date, we've only seen a handful. Let me go ahead and read the description. Welcome to Michigan Map. This map is a Michigan USA style farming map, but is not certain of a particular area in Michigan. The terrain on this map is mostly flat with some rolling hills, valleys, and ditches. There is a river, lake, and large stream to run through the map. There are 4 farms located on the map: Eastern, Southern, Western, and Central. You must buy the land before you can use or sell the buildings. A custom sugar beet piler factory has been added for realism with sugar beet harvesting. When owned by the player, the piler will give you tare dirt. Take the dirt back to the field, and the dirt piles can be leveled and will vanish when you use any sort of field work implement like a plow or cultivator. If not owned by the player, then it will be a simple sell point without the production of tare dirt. This map has 34 fields. Average field size is 19.86 acres. There are 5 purchasable forestries, and you can retrieve water from the town. Alfalfa has been added to this map and has been implemented with the animals. There is, as I mentioned, a buildable roller coaster on this map, playground ship, and grain elevator. Riverbend collectibles are also available on this map, as well as toy tractors and sugar beets. So you're going to find those scattered all around, and Taylor Farms hopes you enjoy this map. So if you've never downloaded anything over at itch.io, it's very, very simple. You're going to go to the link that's down in the description below, and you're going to click on this download button, and that's it. It's going to auto download. Taylor Farms hasn't implemented the donation option, which kind of hope he would, because I'm sure he would get some good free will donations as a result of putting together some pretty good quality maps. With that said, let's go ahead and find our way back over to the map and start taking a look around. So if we pull up the PDA and we zoom out, we're going to see our starting farm location is here on the west. As was mentioned, there are 4 different farms on this map, but more on that in a little bit. We do have all the standard crops as well as alfalfa available here on this map. And if we take a look at our crop counter, we can see we have alfalfa added here where we can plant it from March through November and harvest year round. Other than that, we are looking at a fairly standard FS25 crop calendar. We'll take a look here at our farmland. You'll see we start out by owning farmland ID 29. That is going to be the main starting farm. Should we choose to start this map up where we do not own the farm, well, then you can purchase this for $96,000, and you will know that the buildings are pre-placed. In addition, if you do not own the starting farm, you will not have any starting machinery, but we have elected to own the starting farm, so we'll go over the starting machinery here in a bit. We also have farmland 28, 30, 31, and 33 owned at the start. With respect to the other farms, well, we have one farm that's available at farmland ID 12. We can buy it for $133,200. We have another one available at farmland ID 42. We can buy for $87,300. And then we have one available here at farmland ID 36. We can buy for $80,736. We have our sugar beet pilers down here just south of field 27. And we're going to find our museum just north of field 27. We're going to find our roller coaster to the east of this lake, and we're going to find our pirate ship playground just to the west of that lake, just here beside field 33. We'll go and do a rundown as to what is required for all of those particular constructible missions once we get around to flying around. With respect to animals, this map does not have any animal pins pre-placed, but as was mentioned, we do have alfalfa incorporated in our animal feed. We'll take a look at that also here in a bit. We do have contracts available, and I did see within the map XML definitions for rock removal, wood transport, and dead tree contracts. So those are all also available to us. If we take a look here at our productions, I counted up 14 different productions on the map. That includes the 3 sugar beet pilers. So if we combine those into one, then we have 12 productions available. They include the tailor shop, sugar beet piler, the sawmill, rope maker, the oil mill, the iron furnace, which is going to make our metal, the grain mill. We have our cooper, our carpentry, canning factory, a BGO, BGA, and our bakery. We have approximately 4 different sell points on this particular map. And with respect to our starting fleet, we start out with the Amity Tech 2720 Harvester Scrub. So this is going to be for sugar beets and red beets. A really cool piece of equipment. We also have the 3750 Defoliator. Both of those are new for Farm Sim 25. We have the Case IH 3050 Terraflex 28-foot grain header. We have the Case IH 4408 corn header. And we have the Axoflow 7150 harvester. We have the Steiger 715 quad track tractor and the Challenger MT665. We have our Great Plains 1500 seeder. We have the Horsch 2450 SV planter, the Hardy Mega 1200L sprayer for herbicide and liquid fertilizer. We also have the 1200L tank. We have the John Deere 6R 145, the John Deere 8RX 410. We have the SKS 301050 trailer, and it's set up to pretty much hold everything, including our alfalfa and our alfalfa hay. We've got the Nardi N7030 header trailer for our grain headers, and we also have the Summers cultivator, and we have the Volvo VNX 300 semi also in our starting fleet. All of the equipment is owned, none of it is leased, and is all very well maintained. We do not have any hand tools, and we have 45 collectibles. As I mentioned, they are toy tractors. They're also going to be from the collectibles for the museum from Riverbend Springs and custom sugar beet collectibles that we've seen on other maps by Taylor Farms. With that, let's go ahead and just kind of check out our farm here. We've got our farmhouse, and everything on all the farms can be sold if we own the land. So we have our sleep trigger, and we have our wardrobe trigger. And then across the street, we're going to find our machine sheds and all of our machinery. There we go. Now, I did try this map out on my low-end test system, and I was seeing frame rates anywhere between the upper 30s and low 40s. What that equates out to is this map should play fairly good on just about any system that'll run Farm Sim 25. You may have a little bit of a problem on lower powered systems if you're maybe pushing the graphics a little bit, as far as maybe running a little bit higher resolution than really you should be, or if you have a whole lot of machinery in one particular place. But other than that, it should run pretty good, because with my custom medium settings on my test system, which is using AMD integrated graphics, I was seeing, as I mentioned, upper 30s to 40s pretty much anywhere I was on the map. And that equates out to high 60s and low 70 FPS once you factor in that I do have frame gen enabled on those settings. Now, that was the starting farm. let's go ahead and buy the other farmlands and go check those areas out as well. So if we get a little bit of altitude, as the description said, this map, for the most part, is fairly flat. Now, it's not flat as a board, flat as a piece of paper, or anything like that. There are some subtle undulations that we have on the various fields. Right here we are at our starting farm location, and we're going to take this road and go directly to our east. And that's where we're going to come up to farmland ID 12. And that's where we have the second arable farm that we're going to take a look at. Again, we have our farmhouse with our respectable triggers associated. And we have our sleep in the front, wardrobe here on the back side. So thankfully nobody driving down the road will just see our farmer changing his outfits. Then we've got a collection of machine buildings. We have our workshop trigger located there. More machine sheds. Nice bale shed or whatever you want to do. We also have land around each farm for the inclusion and placement of additional buildings like silos or animal pens. Then we've got 3 additional barn sheds here. Now, as you would expect, these are available in build mode. So if we pull up build mode, we scroll down here to sheds, we're going to find all of these custom sheds can be placed down. They are included within the map. And the map itself is 465 megabytes in size. We do have a bale storage shed. 600 bales are going to be available in that storage shed. And then we have pretty much everything else is going to be base game standard. With respect to ground textures, we've got the normal assortment of ground textures, trees, and shrubbery. Now, if we continue east along this road, you do see that we have ditches along the field, so you will need to be cautious when you are turning around. Thankfully, with the AI in FS25, AI is going to try to turn within the boundary of the field itself, so the AI should not have issues with these ditches like they did in previous farm sim. If we make our way north now along the eastern side of the map, we have farmland ID 42, and that is going to be a third arable farm. This one, though, doesn't have a farmhouse trigger associated, so it's just some sheds. But we do have a fair bit of land right beside it to do additional buildings, silos, farmhouses, or animal pens. With respect to our fourth farm, well, we're going to make our way down this eastern road. And you can see it just out of view, off in the distance. Here we have the fourth farm at farmland ID 36. A couple sheds, a couple rocks that we can bust up if we want to clear the land. We have our farmhouse, and again, more farmland to build out animal farms or just more sheds and silos. So those are the farms that are available. While we're down here, let's just go ahead and take a look at these constructible missions. So here we have the grain elevator from Riverbend Springs, and we have our drop-off point for that grain elevator right here. And I've gone ahead and pulled together everything that is required to build this. So I want to go ahead and run down through that list right now. In order to manufacture your museum, you are going to need 36,000 wood beams, 48,000 planks, 72,000 long planks, 12,000 roof plates, 12,000 prefab walls, 6,000 units of cement, and 6,000 units of cement bricks. Now that should be straight from the base game as far as what is required to build. We pull up our PDA, you can see right to the west of that we have our lake and we have our roller coaster. Very well placed, I have to say, right here by the lake. We even have kind of some playground stuff going on and everything within the interior of the roller coaster. So it's a really cool place once I see this getting built out to come and visit and hang out with your family. We've got a walkway around the lake, some more playground equipment, and of course up here on the hill, well, we're going to have our playground pirate ship. So really well thought out area. Here we have the roller coaster. And again, we have our dump point for the roller coaster. And in order to build the roller coaster, and this is going to be a little bit different than what it was to build the roller coaster on Silver Run Forest. So pay attention. You're going to need 30,000 wooden beams, 20,000 planks, 12,000 long planks, 4,000 units of metal, 5,000 prefab walls, 3,000 furniture, 5,000 roof plates, 3,000 barrel, and 2,000 buckets. Okay? So a little bit different than what we had on the FS25 Silver Run Forest. On the other side of the lake, as I mentioned, we have our buildable pirate ship. A really cool surprise edition for Riverbend Springs. And from here, we're going to need to provide the following items. 162,000 liters of wooden beams, or 162,000 units of wooden beams, 90,000 units of planks, 72,000 units of long planks, 42,000 units of rope, and 12,000 units worth of fabric. So those are the 3 constructible missions. All of them right here, kind of real close to each other. And again, I'm really impressed with how we have this whole area set up kind of as a park. Park with a roller coaster, playground equipment, right? We can walk around the area here, and then we have a little parking lot and everything. And, well, something that I remember quite fondly with respect to Michigan map, going back a couple farm versions, is this fabulous jump. We have a nice long runway, and, well, you're going to have fun. Get yourself a long vehicle, start here, and split the field goals, jump the barn, and we'll hopefully stick the landing. Now that we're back here to our starting farm, let's go ahead and take a look at the sell points and productions that are available on this map. So if we make our way kind of up the western side of the map, first off, all of this grass over here on the left is buyable plots. So we can buy all of these plots, put additional production down, expand our farmer operation, or build these out into fields, or just use it for grass. One of our forests is located right here at Farmland ID 15. And here we have the Iron Peaks Iron Mine. That's going to be bringing up the iron ore, which we're going to need for our metal factory. Here we have our grain silo for transferring product to and from the train. So we have our dump point and fill point here to transfer product to and from a trailer. We have our rent train trigger, and then we have our dump point there to add product to the train, because we do have a train sell point on this map. Now let's go, and before we forget, let's pull up our animal food requirements and take a look and see what is required. So remember, it was mentioned that alfalfa has been added for animals. So thanks to Animal Food Overview, a mod that I like to use for these map videos, we can see that here on our table. We have alfalfa, which has been added as the hay requirement for our cows. We're going to have to check the shop and see if we can make TMR with alfalfa or not. Alfalfa has been added for horses, also under the hay requirement. And then lastly, alfalfa has been added to our sheep, again under the grass requirement, alfalfa hay, grass, or hay. Let's check our vehicle shop and take a look at our animal feed mixers. And we can see that alfalfa hay has been added here. So we can use alfalfa hay as a food source for mixing TMR. Something else I want to check based on a recent comment in a different video around alfalfa, is can we use the Gouville stationary baler to bale alfalfa? I don't see it listed here, so you may have to try. I feel that in order for this to work, basically the map author has to add alfalfa to this particular product because it does have a dump container as opposed to simply picking up the windrow. But I may be mistaken. Here we have a preserved food factory. So we have our dump point, we have our interactive icon, and our spawn point. Here we have our carpentry. So we have our interactive icon, we have our wood cell trigger, and our pallet spawn point. We have a warehouse over here that's not only a sell point, but we can also buy our finished products from here if we want to go that route in order to build out our constructible missions. I wouldn't really suggest this unless you are basically rolling in the dough, because this will be one of the most expensive ways to do that. Here we have the oil mill, our dump point, our interactive point, and our pallet spawn point. Further down, we have our dealership. So we have our dealer trigger. And we have our dealer activation here at the front door. And let's go ahead and pick something. And no doubt it's all going to spawn here on the left. We got a pretty big parking lot over here for things to spawn in. So we shouldn't have that big of an issue with buying a lot of big machinery for this map. And we do have a pretty good sized area to get out of the yard. And the roads are also fairly wide, so we shouldn't have any issues running down the street either. Although, of course, you may want to turn off traffic. Your probably narrowest points are going to be these bridges. We have our farmer's market sell point. And then here at our Michigan water tower, this is where we're going to be able to get the water for this map. So we have our dump point for our pallets and our loose goods here at the farmer's market. We have our fuel point. Some more buildable plots at farmland 51 and 52. We have our tailor. We have our dairy. We have our cooper, so our barrel production. We have our sawmill. We have our bakery. There's a lot going on here in town. We have our rope manufacturing. This, I believe, is going to be our grain mill. Let's just go ahead and verify. It may be a grain sell point. Nope, there's our grain mill. And here we have our grain sell point directly to the left of it. We have our animal dealer located right here. So we have our animal buy trigger. We have our bale sell trigger. We do have our animated animals in here as well. We have our manure buy point and our slurry buy point also here at this animal dealer. And then here we have our metal manufacturing. This is where we're going to bring our iron ore in order to manufacture our metal for our construction projects. We have our BGA. So 2 3-sided silage bunkers. And we have the large double digester biogas plant. You can see how this field ebbs and flows a little bit. Whole lot of green beans in that field. completely make our way now to the south part of the map. And we're going to conclude with our sugar beet pilers. So we have 3 of these. We can buy all 3 individually or buy just a few or 1. And we're going to dump our sugar beets here. And if we don't own it, well, we're done. We're going to make money. If we do own it, well, we'll make money. And we will get our tare dirt out of there. And we'll take that tare dirt and dump it into any field that we own. Then we'll be able to basically work that into the field with cultivators or plows. And then we'll return the soil back to the field where we harvested our sugar beets so we don't end up, you know, running out of soil. And folks, that is pretty much Michigan map. Now, I'd love to hear your all's thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think of this iteration of Michigan map? What do you think of the inclusion of the pirate ship, the roller coaster, and the museum? Are those things you would like to see incorporated into other maps further into FS25's life? Or, well, probably, and would you like to see custom construction missions? Have no idea what it might take to go into that. I expect it's going to be a lot of work because you'd have to not only model the finished thing, but you'd have to model each particular stage, and that is going to be a whole lot of work. But I can't wait to see if we're going to get any custom construction missions coming in the future. Until next time, happy farming.